Okay, news comes out in 2 hours. Jobs report, unemployment report, United States. So I'm just going to go through a simple template here. This is about as simple as it gets. I just took a 1-period moving average and I put it on top of the bar charts. So you don't need anything fancy here. I don't have the price grids in here, but you can just do the math on the side. Don't forget to do the math. Moving average. I just set it to really thick because I want it to jump out at me, hit me over the head. Now the wicks, this is the infamous gold market on the 4-hour chart. Notice the wicks of hell on this thing. Now, if you just draw trend lines, and I do believe trend lines, somebody commented, oh, I do them on... no, trend lines to me are the trend, which is closing price. If I draw this on wicks, you'll get a completely distorted view. You have volatility. These are volatility. If I draw them on wicks, I think I did that in the Bitcoin video. So if you backspace key, you can take off the last line that you drew. Now, if I draw purely on closing prices, you see how much more this is the trend. And you get, this is the trend, right? This is, how do you know it's in an uptrend? The first time it closes higher. Uptrend, now you can trade off of that trend line. But if you try to do that on wicks, you'll never get filled. The supply and demand zone is the wick window. The wick, from the closing to there, is your place to get in. Just like this. If you come here and block that off, you see the fills that you would get? That's a really disturbing color, isn't it now? Violet? Never looks good on a... that doesn't look good either. I'll go for something kind of we'll go for that Gartley pastel color. But see how you get filled here? This is your fill window. Same thing on the sell side. We got this crackpot named Calvin that doesn't believe this is where you get in. He doesn't understand supply and demand zones. This is where you get in. You start placing sell limits up in this wick window. Now tops become bottoms in a zone here. But look at the true top bottom on the 4-hour right there. Top, breakout, new bottom. Then we do this stairway up. I think gold's screwed. I mean, in the long run, I really do think gold's just... But this is a buy for gold traders right here on the 4-hour. But guess what? Not so fast, right? Not so fast because what if it just keeps melting down? Comes all the way back to 12, right? It looks like a great setup here. And you can make all sorts of arguments like you got a top bottom. You got double bottom, top bottom. It's still going up. But you know what? There's a top bottom here, and look at this fill. This is your sell limit fill off of this pivot. So there's a lot of trades in here. I can't imagine picking one fucking trade out of this and trading one trade. This one-trick pony shit is for lazy people and people that can't manage anything. This top bottom never got filled. Like here it got filled on the wick. See, this is a fill on the wick. And so top bottom is a structure thing. Then we have volatility breakout trades. A whole nother thing. Right, whole nother thing. Buying the pound right here. First pound. It's a whole nother world. You got to have both. To be a successful trader, in my opinion, you need to have a volatility breakout system, and you need to know structure, and you have to have a limit system to capture, to load the wagon. Now look at this trade. Fix the scale. Go to properties. Fix the scale, and let's drill down on these entries. Look at this structure. Look at this. Now I can see if I got it filled on this. If I have a buy limit sitting here in gold, I got filled. I got filled here. After when the market's here, so when do you place this magical buy limit that's going to make you all this money? When the market's here, when it's here, you're placing a buy limit here. Okay? 12 hours later, you get filled here. And if your exit is here, or maybe your exit's here, it's a scalp. So you scalp to the floor. You know this price exists. You know this price exists. You haven't got filled yet. You got a buy limit sitting here, right? Zoom in. So look how this unfolds. You've got the buy limit sitting here. The market's trading here. You know this price exists. Before we get filled, you know this exists. So where do you think your first target would be? If you get filled here, it's going to be here. Or it's going to be here. Right? You know this price exists. Your buy limits are trailing here. Once again, your buy limits don't get filled. Right? You don't get filled there. What comes into play other than buy limits and sell limits and trading at the market on the clock? So every 4 hours is down. You buy, you buy. You buy, you buy. You buy. You probably don't want to buy up here because you got limits that start here, right? You have this trap entries. It's in an uptrend on this 4-hour chart. How do you get into these trades? On limits, it's the best way to get in. If you're trading limits, you're doing really good trading. You can tell because you're getting the best possible price in here. But you also have this thing called volatility. And when the volatility dries up here, you got buy stops here, sell stops here, buy stops, sell stops. You get chopped out here. If you only trade this from the long side, buy stop here, buy stop here, buy stop. You're looking to get in on that vacuum as your first thing. So you're long. You're cashing out into the floor, right? Everybody's going to get out here because anybody that bought here has got to get out and balance their books. Because people just keep books, like big hedge funds keep books. They don't look at fucking Gartley patterns. Sorry, Calvin. They don't look at geometry. And see, I'm still waiting for Calvin to produce his results in a copy trade outside of his platform. And I'm waiting for him to give me a symposium on Gartleys and tell me who I criticize that doesn't have their head fucking so far buried up their ass that you can see it coming out of their mouth. They show me these people. So, and I'm actually being polite when I criticize people. So he has all this vitriol. It comes back with me. It's just vicious. I'm a complete, you can see how mentally ill he is. So it's the same guy that I met 2 years ago that flipped out on Doji, told Doji he didn't know what he was talking about. So I remember the drama now, and only one person on the planet has that much vitriol inside of them and is that far fucking gone. They don't understand market structure. They don't understand auction theory. This is a mini auction here. You want to buy that on limits, so he thinks that that's some type of martingale entry. And this is proof in the pudding. Now, if I turn off the candles, if I just go to this, in fact, with this drawing tool, I can mark all the critical areas, right? I come in here and go, all right, well, we have an entry here. We can mark this off, and then we can turn the wicks off. So we can hold on to these prices. We can see here's a big wick, here's a big wick, here's a monster wick, another monster wick. And notice the perfect head and shoulders on closing prices only, perfect head and shoulders. Already we're in an uptrend, so now I'm going to go to pure line chart. And you're like, wait a minute. Why do you have these things? Yeah, because the price came there. You cannot tell because the true trend is the closing prices. That is the trend of the market. Sorry, that's it. Why people are drawing on them wicks? Because everybody else did the same stupid thing. Anyways, I'm going back to my British pound trade. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.